Spur Corporation, with a market cap of 1.6 billion rand, recently reported a 20.2% increase. That's in diluted headline earnings per share, and increased its interim dividend by 21.2% to 40 cents. The group's portfolio consists of Spur Steak Ranches, Panarottis Pizza, Dory's Fish and Grill, and newly acquired Dorego's fast food chain. Craig, let's go down to you in Cape Town on this one. We are talking about Spur Corp at this point. What are your thoughts on this one, and again, some of those assets within its portfolio?
Yeah, look, it's a very slow-moving management team, but very astute. You've only started to see them wake up to acquisitions quite recently. They tried the cappuccinos, their due diligence didn't work out. Now Dorego's, which looks quite good, it's about 75 outlets, and considering there's only about 440 odd outlets in the rest of the group, it's a nice acquisition. What I like as well is they've also looked at their offerings. So Spur wasn't getting the breakfast market, so they put 1995 breakfast offering, which seems to attract people in. They've looked at the gaps on the existing franchises and managed to extract more out of it, and they've got the highest operating margins, around about 36%, which is quite attractive. So those are the things that I like about the company, and I think now, having brought back 25% of Dory's, now this Dorego's acquisition, which is only effective the 1st of March, going forward you're going to see some good growth.
Do you think that 36% operating margin is sustainable going forward? Craig, still to you in Cape Town.
They had 34.7 the year before, etc. They managed to play around that. But yes, you do have the same problems in terms of the price of red meat going up, maize and so on, food costs. But they have escalated the menu quite substantially recently. And hopefully, the market seems to be. I think if you've got children, you're going to spend part of your budget at Spur, and that's worked well for them. So they have managed to get away with the menu increases.
Craig says Spur's working well for them. What about Dory's, Panarottis? We don't really hear much about those two franchises, do we?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. This one has been around for such a long time. It wasn't, in fact, invented by Hiawatha, as you would read if you were reading on the plastic menus.
I see you frequent Spur on a regular basis.
It was invented by Alan Amborb in Cape Town in 1967, and basically a successful expansion, but then seemed to sort of lose its way a little bit. So over the years, it has battled a little bit with its franchise relationships. And I know for a fact some of the big investors in the chains fight a bit with the head office around profits and around marketing, around who's spending and so on. Also, the acquisitions not exactly without their problems. Recently they were in court and they kind of settled with the acquisition and buyout of one of their partners, whereas you don't hear that with famous brands. I mean, if you're going to grow through acquisition of other businesses, it's critical that you have a management team and a working practice which incorporates people well and makes it feel as though it's a successful outcome for all parties. So it's kind of one of those older listed groups that I'm not all that wild about. And I wouldn't say that their particular brand positioning, which is the original Spur concept with liquor licenses and so on, is all that well suited to the younger market, which is more kind of in and out.
Craig, just very quickly, did I hear you correctly when you said that management on Spur Corp is slightly slow? Does that mean Pierre van Tonder as CEO is somewhat slow in your book?
They've been slow in making acquisitions, in extending their franchise. If you compare it with the likes of a famous brand and the type of growth they've acquired, even Taste, which is a smaller player we'll speak about now. So from that point of view, they're slow, but they seem to be thinking about things at the moment, like the family card concept, and how do we retain our customers? And retention is also very important to bring it back. And yes, there may be valid comments in terms of are they appealing to a younger generation, but many of those that are sitting in the playpen now will still be remembering Spur later in life, and when they in turn have children. So I think it's a brand that's established itself in the South African market. Interestingly, about 70% of their revenue, and hopefully they can get it right on the rest of the African continent.
Very quickly,
also a little bit in the UK and Australia, but their growth going forwards on Africa.
Very quickly, I know we need to go to hot or not, but I am cognizant of the fact that Paul did not answer my question on Panarottis and Dory's as to whether those were appropriate assets or good assets within the Spur Corp fold. What are your thoughts, Craig?
Well, look, I think, again, John Dory's is a sit-down experience with the seafood industry. And in my opinion, the successful is your higher end of the market. Ocean Basket has done very well with some similar competitive, which is outside of any of the listed environment. So I think that they're competing in that space and haven't done as well as the likes of an Ocean Basket. Panarottis, again, pizza is very competitive. I think they've been very slow in growing their franchises. So it may be an issue with product, but what they have done is they managed to change the market. So in the middle of the week, you know, these adverts of kids eat more kids, and they play on the words.
So with the slow...
Come during the week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, we've got specials, and that's where they've attracted the revenue.
With the slow adjective being the one that you're using regularly throughout our discussion on Spur Corp. Hot or not, Craig?
I like it. And again, it's a valuation thing. Famous brands, there's an argument in terms of they've been better with growth, but valuation, Spur looks better.
So it's hot. Craig?
Hot.
Thank you. Paul?
I like the sector, but this one's not hot for me. Rather go with one of the others.